All right, welcome back from a nice 3-day weekend, huh? Good weather, and still feels like summer. So we're definitely into the swing of things, though, and you're getting used to office hours. We're going to start to have those on a regular basis. So right here it says for Thursday when we have an office hour, it's time for makeups. So we're going to have another lab, and if you miss labs or tests, that's a great use of office hour, but don't think that that's the only thing. It's not just for makeups. You can see from our schedule that we're going to have a quiz coming up on the following class. So it's going to be on Wednesday for you guys. And I'm not sure if we have an office hour on Tuesday. I have to look. But if that's the case, come on in during office hour and we can have a little study session. So when we're farther into the semester and you're really trying to improve on your quiz grades, it's a great idea for office hour to get extra help writing up labs, improving on your skills. But definitely we do go through a study session. We'll do it in class too, but one of the best ways to improve on test scores is to have a study partner. So if you have one that you could meet up with at some location on an office hour, you guys quiz each other. You're going to see with our textbook, it has built-in flashcards, it has practice tests, and those are great to do on your own, but nothing beats someone just asking you a question. Hey, what is this? Give me the answer to that. And then you can find out pretty quickly what you are prepared for and what you need a little more work with. Today we have an advisory. It's not an official office hour. Teachers may extend opportunities for you to get help, but really it is for clubs and it's for meetings with your counselor and you. So it's new this year, so it's not an extension of office hour, but since we're just getting started, I'm opening up my advisory, which is coming up today, and I think it's the only one this week. So check with your teachers if you have to make up work. You are required to make up work in a timely manner. It's not just during office hours. It can also be by appointment. So you can see I said during lunch, during class sometimes. So this one you could do it during class. And so you don't have to give up your lunch after school, just like old times, right? So we do have office hour built into the schedule, which helps. But then you'd go, oh, I have to do math on my office hour. Oh, I have to do history. So you're not allowed like just office hours. Sometimes they're just one time a week. So make sure that when you're absent on those unplanned absences that you make up work within the number of days of your absence. After that, you'll start to have late penalties. So check with your teachers on that. So we're going to wrap up this unit on our next 2 meetings. So next Monday, I will be going through a review on Chapter 1. We're going to go over the themes of biology, which is pretty easy to remember if you know the characteristics of living things, because the themes are all around what makes something alive. So we're going to be looking at the characteristics of life. Can you open up the assignment? It's called Planet Earth, Characteristics of Life. And there's a picture right here at Canvas. It's also in the assignment file for you to get. So here's a PDF file for you to open up in Notability. And while we watch the video, you're going to drop in the name of the animal. And keep in mind, it could also be a plant. And the characteristic that it is demonstrating in the video. There are 7 of them. Let's see how mine opens up. Sometimes the picture loads pretty slow, but I'll see if I can open it to show you. Yep, there we go. So there are 7 squares here. Do you find it?
I found it, but it's not allowing me to open
Oh, maybe it's not opening for anybody?
I can't find it.
Okay. Okay. I must not have permission for you to open it, so I'll open it up here in just a minute. Let's see what I have it set for. Oh, it's set to open up tomorrow. No, that's the due date. 9 p.m. So instead of a.m., I put p.m. So you'll find it under the module, or it's in your to-do list. So you should be able to open it up now. I had it set to open up at 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. Did you find it? Some of these are obvious. Everything that's alive is going to grow and develop. So you can see this alligator hatching from an egg. So you have live birth without an egg, or you have egg layers. And then usually it's a small infant stage, juvenile stage, adolescent to adult. Sometimes go through metamorphosis. So you're going to see a lot of examples of that in the video, obviously. Then you also have to realize that in order for the species to continue, they have to be able to get to the next generation. So reproduction is either asexual, where plants do this very often. Even some animals can reproduce on their own without another partner. The purpose for sexual reproduction is to mix up genetics. You get a new combination of genes. So there's advantage in having variety in a species. If the environment gets bad, maybe some are going to be more drought resistant. Maybe some are going to be able to run faster away from a predator. So mixing up genetics, having a lot of variety is really healthy. Do you see one that says order? I think I called it highly ordered structures. And people keep asking, well, what does that mean? Well, you're going to see examples of like a shark with his powerful teeth. That's an example of a highly ordered structure. He's going to be chasing, I think it's a seal. I don't think it's a sea lion. But they're very similar. And they can turn really quickly. They have a flexible spine. That's a highly ordered structure. Very bendable and can turn on a dime. So anytime that you are multicellular, you're going to start to develop wings or arms or lungs or gills. These are all cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and they become highly ordered structures in the organism. So really, every species has highly ordered structures. Okay, it's their uniqueness. What makes them special. Responding to the environment. Remember, our five senses are the way that we observe and live in our environment. So you're responding to some stimuli from your five senses. If it's too hot, you'll go in the shade. If you're too cold, you'll go in the sunshine. You may have triggers like this Venus flytrap to be a carnivorous plant, not only go through photosynthesis, but also to supplement their feeding strategy by putting digestive enzymes in this trap and then digesting it from outside of the plant and then soaking up the nutrients that it has digested. Extracellular digestion. Well, responding to the environment, you will see many examples of that. Regulation. Think of yourself and all living things as walking chemistry sets. So they have to regulate their chemistry, they have to regulate their temperature, they have to regulate their salts. Everything needs to be in balance. That's called homeostasis. And it's a theme in biology. It's all of these are themes in biology, but these are what make us realize, hey, this is alive. Because even non-living things can respond to the environment. Even non-living things can grow and develop, like a fire or crystals or clouds. So it's not just living things that will show these individually, but when you look at them as a whole group, things that are alive will do all of these. Go to a couple more easy ones right here in the center. Energy processing. Hey, you either make your own food like a plant, you're an autotroph, or you're a heterotroph, where you have to eat other organisms. So by this, it means that you have to take in energy, and we eat it, we're omnivores. And then you take that energy and make it into a form that your body uses. That's what your mitochondria is. It's the powerhouse of the cell. It takes the glucose from the food that you eat, and it's going to change it into ATP. It's the currency that the cell uses to get things done. So it is our energy molecule to power all activities. So when you see animals preying on one another, that's energy processing. You're going to hear about the boreal forest. So if you want to know how to spell it, I have it up here on the board. The boreal forest is right below the Arctic region in the north. So it's basically up in Canada and up in Russia. It encircles the whole globe. It's from about 15 degrees from the North Pole, so that would be like 75 degrees down to 60 degrees. That whole region is a boreal forest. It's like these special trees that have really small needles so that they can go through photosynthesis, taking energy, yet protect themselves from the extreme cold by not having brittle, broad leaves, but they have really tough leaves. And they're hard for insects to eat too, so that they don't lose all their leaves with things eating them. And then last, we will have a whole unit on evolution in the second semester. And this is Darwin, Charles Darwin, may have heard of him. He came up with this theory called survival of the fittest. You either have to adapt or you'll perish. So it's not like organisms are going to adapt in their lifetime and then get a longer neck like a giraffe. But maybe those that had the longer necks, they were able to reach leaves that the shorter necked animals couldn't in a bad food year. So their genes for long necks were passed on to the next generation. And so you lose the other characteristics because they weren't able to have offspring. So that's what it means by adaptation. Those that have an adaptation that gives them an advantage, nature gives them a thumbs up and they're able to survive. Those that didn't have the advantage that year, maybe those traits are going to disappear altogether. So over generations and generations, things change. Right now, like for COVID, for example, we're seeing viruses with new strains that maybe vaccines or medicines are not going to be good for. Because it turns out that when you come up with a strategy that kills off organisms and pests, then it does a fine job at that, but leaves those oddballs, those that have a genetic variation that makes them what we call like superbugs. And then they live and pass on their genes. And so you get more and more of them, and then it looks like your medicines are no longer effective, and you have to come up with new ones. So that's what evolutionary advantage adaptations are. It's sort of like they're highly ordered structures. It says right here, like this fox has a really thick coat and a really warmth providing tail. So the ones with small tails, maybe they didn't make it. And so it evolves and changes where they're all going to have longer and longer tails as time goes on. Okay, time for the video now. And you can see that there's a box for you to write the name of the animal and a brief phrase. Should be a complete sentence. but come up with 2 examples in each box and try not to repeat anything. Yes?
Sorry, could you explain one more time what highly ordered structure is?
The highly ordered structure for this guy would be that he's quite waterproof. They have scaly skin, and so they can withstand a lot of temperatures without drying out. If you look at this caterpillar right here, his highly ordered structures are those spines, which is going to detract others from coming over and eating him real easy. Everything has a highly ordered structure. This foxtail is a highly ordered structure to keep him warm in cold environments. Coloration, camouflage, highly ordered structure of the tusk right there to ward off lions that might try to prey on these guys. So highly ordered structures, just whatever makes them unique in their environment. Yep, good question. Here we go.